Hey Rob, thank you for being with me on the Purposeful Mindset podcast. Dude, I am super grateful to have you on the show, man. We just had an awesome chat before off script, and man, I'm super excited to just learn about your life lessons. I have no idea what you're going to share, but from the conversation we just had, I know that you're going to share so much value with my audience. I know you already said some amazing things while we were having a chat. I was like, damn it, I wish you recorded that.
Yeah.
But man, let's get straight into it. I really want to just listen, and I want to learn from your top 5 life lessons that you've been through your journey in business, marketing, life. Let's go for it, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, I think my first lesson comes it comes all the way back to when I started doing what I do now, which is working in the kind of marketing and digital and consulting space. I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I banged my head against a brick wall, like all the way through college and stuff, just panicking about like needing to have a path. I think as a society, maybe less so now with everything that's going on with COVID and all the rest of it, but I think we've got so much pressure that we put on ourselves and so much pressure that parents put on us to be a certain person, you know, to know all the way through school what you're going to be for the rest of your life until you kind of retire and then clock out. And I suppose the biggest thing that I learned looking at how weirdly wavy my career path has been is it doesn't matter. Like there will always be a curveball that gets thrown in. There'll always be something. There'll be some personal trauma, or there'll be some, you know, big thing that's suddenly sprung on you that just captures all of your attention and creates such a buzz that you want to head off in another direction. I think the big thing for me is not to plan ahead too much with whatever it is that you want to do. You know, trust in yourself right now. Trust in perhaps the next few steps that you take, but don't be too surprised and don't be too scared if something throws you a complete curveball and means that you need to kind of pick yourself up and head off in another direction. A lot of things that I know now, a lot of things that I apply in my career, a lot of things that I carry with me personally are just a sum of all of the other things that I've done in the past. And it's amazing how you can reach back into yourself and like pick up those dusty skills that you've got and kind of create these crazy new blends for yourself. You can reinvent yourself on a regular basis just by actually using what you've done in the past. But yeah, I suppose my big number one is don't plan ahead too much. Don't be surprised if things change, because they will change.
I know what, Rob, I totally agree, man. Because I think even in my journey so far, like I went from at one point doing an online business 4.5 years to then doing a speaking business for 1 year, just for like, I want to be a speaker now. I love speaking. Start wanting to build that for 1 year, and then COVID hit this year, 2020, and I'm just like, I want to be a coach now. Like I need to take everything online. So online coaching is going to be the best way for me to go. I don't know. I also love fitness. So probably 2-3 years from now, I'm gonna have a fitness brand, or I'm gonna have like some kind of a, you know what I mean? Because I know me. I get excited when it's something that I love. And if I meet someone along the next 2, 3, 4 years that also like really into fitness like me, but they want to partner with something and, you know, build some kind of brand, I'm gonna be like, hell yeah, let's go, man. Like let's just do this on the side. I don't mind joining you. So you're right, man. We can't. I think I hate that question. I don't know about you, but I really, really dislike this question so much when people say, where do you see your life 5 years from now? I'm just like, I don't even care 5 years from now. Like, I don't even know if I'm going to be alive 5 years from now. I just don't like that question. The maximum I'll go up to, even as a coach, I teach people 12 months. In the next year, where do you want to be? Have a goal for the next year, and then break that down to short-term goals, where it's every week, every day. What do I need to do every day to reach that goal? So basically, like you said, simplifying your life in perspective to what you want to do today and where that's going to take you in the next week, next month, next year. But keeping it simple is the thing most people don't do. They overthink too much. And so, yeah, like you said, don't plan ahead, because planning is good, but overdoing it leads you to insanity.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, you think about it, there's probably 90% of all of us out there that would have had 3-year plans last year. Are your plans the same now? Like after everything that's happened to the globe this
Nobody
last
knew 2020 pandemic's gonna happen. Everybody had amazing goals for 2020. We're gonna travel. We're gonna travel to here. Holidays booked. Bang.
Everything changed.
One external factor can change our life.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's about, I guess the second thing is about how you then deal with that. You know, how you embrace it, how you embrace the change, how you
strengthen yourself. I think a lot of that for me has come down to simplifying everything that I do. Part of that is down to creating new boundaries. So actually saying, you know, here are the things that I'm great at, here are the things that I want to improve, and here are the things that I just don't want to do anymore. When you create those boundaries, when you simplify every element of your life, you start to free up a certain amount of energy, a certain amount of time that you can use to develop yourself, whether that's, you know, health and well-being or mindset development or whatever else. You can actually start to really double down and reinvest back in yourself to make yourself a stronger person, because whatever it was that caused that change, like COVID for so many people, you know, hitting businesses or hitting families or creating health problems or whatever else, you've got to do something different to get through it. And a lot of that means that you have to be grounded, you have to be strong, you have to have the energy, you have to potentially redefine yourself to then take the next step forward. If you just continue what you were doing before, kind of as you say, it's almost the definition of insanity.
Yeah, literally, right? Exactly what Einstein shared. Like, you know, doing the same thing over and over again will genuinely lead you to insanity in your life. Because if you don't change something, then nothing will change in your life.
Yeah.
Like, we have to take the steps every single day, but we have to also accept that the external factors that come and have that ripple effect in our life, that's going to be a factor in all of our life. We're all going to get impacted by something external, and we have no control over it. So we have to learn up here first that we have to just deal with it as it comes in our life, and just remember that, you know, our life is like a master plan. You know, we like Steve Jobs used to say, connecting the dots each day. And it's so powerful, because yeah, man, I really resonate with what you're saying right now, because it's just like, when we simplify things in our life, I believe there'll be less people with depression. I think there will be less people anxious. I think there will be less mental health challenges, because most people just overanalyze. I always tell people, even some of my clients, I'm like, you make up false stories in your head that you believe personally are true, but they're absolutely nonsense. You just made a story in your head and you believed it. It hasn't even happened. It's not even gonna happen, but you believed it because it's in your head. And that's where it all starts. When you clear this, everything else starts becoming much more clearer, right?
I agree. And I think there's a few things in that. There's that classic fear, like all of us, probably for many, many thousands of years, of, you know, something in the back of your head that nags you, you create a fear around it. It's like, well, that wolf is going to eat me. Well, you haven't met the wolf yet. It's not started chewing your leg, but you're already scared of something that probably won't happen.
Yeah.
And I think particularly with the times that we're all living in, that's the kind of state of mind that a lot of us put ourselves into, where we become scared of something that is not inevitable, scared of something that probably won't happen. But it drains so much of our energy and so much of our attention that what we do is we almost paralyze ourselves from taking imperfect action in just continuously moving forward, even though we don't know exactly what's going to happen next. Like, that momentum creates the confidence, that momentum creates the energy. And actually, you start to suddenly move faster and faster and faster and faster through that process, because you're not allowing yourself to be anchored by the fear. You're just like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm heading in this direction.
Yeah. And I think also what really adds to that, Rob, is those people that support you along the way. Because I know that a lot of people try to drag you down when you're on that mission of doing something great and amazing with your life. And then those people are like, hey, don't go there. You're making a mistake. You don't know what you're doing. Don't leave your job. Don't start that business. Don't go and do that thing. And that's where people get stuck. So I feel like that's where people get stuck, when they getting dragged down by negative people, whether that's their parents, siblings, friends, telling them that they can't do it or they're not good enough. Or you're going to fail miserably. Don't stop trying to risk it all in life. Stay safe, stay in the safe zone. So get a secure job and just stick to that. And like we both know, when you're ambitious and crazy, you don't listen to anybody. You're just going to go after your own vision, your life, what you truly want to do, what just makes you happy deep down, right?
Yeah, I agree. And I think, there's an interesting kind of paradox that's going on for people all over the globe. I've got partners and clients in like cities all over the globe, and every single person that I speak to, like, the base story is the same. We're all dealing with COVID. We're all dealing with financial uncertainty. Governments have been really weird, martial laws roaming, blah, 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 all of these crazy things that are going on. It's not just the UK. It's like every single country has got pretty much its own variation of the same story. And if you think about the process that we're in right now, we're all living in these bubbles. So this very thing about, you know, I wish that I could escape this negativity has become harder, because if you're inside a bubble where you're getting anchored and dragged down by all these people that you can't get away from, you can't go and travel, you know, it becomes a lot harder. You've got to do so much more inner work. You've got to protect yourself within that space, because you can't get out of that space.
Yeah.
So it's much more challenging for people right now, probably than than it's ever been at any other point in history.
I definitely agree with you, Rob. Well, so what's just to kind of chuck this in there, what's one thing that someone listening right now or watching, what's one thing they can do for that inner work? One kind of what your best advice to give that person that can do some inner work or get out of that negativity if they are like right now at home, lockdown, stuck?
I think for me personally, it's been about listening. It's been about, because it's really noisy right now. I mean, the crazy difference, if COVID would have happened when I started my career in the internet in the 90s, before smartphones, before Wi-Fi and all this stuff, it'd have been a different thing. Like, we're lucky. We've got a lot of data at our fingertips, but at the very same time, it's very, very noisy right now. It's easy to get dragged into your own negative cycles of thoughts. It's easy to get dragged into family situations when you're inside bubbles and all the rest. You've got to work out, and this is what I try to do every day, you've got to work out how to have like just some time, some stillness to actually listen to yourself and work out whether things are slightly off kilter, whether things feel natural to you. And if something doesn't feel right, if your gut instinct is telling you that something doesn't feel right, you probably need to get out of that scenario. So I regularly just get out with the dog. You know what I mean? I will just disappear into the woods for a few hours, even if, you know, the phone's going and the emails are blatting and I've got Slack and WhatsApp messages going on and I've got a client shouting because they need something doing. I'll just be like, nah, like I'm being selfish. Like I'm going to take myself away from that situation and actually focus on me, because I can then bring it back. I can bring that energy back. I can catch up with stuff. But if I'm just allowing myself to be bulldozed, if I'm, you know, slamming myself into all of these problems all the time, like nothing's going to work out the way I really want it to. So just being aware and listening to yourself and then working out what you want to do with it.
I love that. But that's not going to be your third one, right? That's not your third point. That's just
no.
That's just an extra one I chucked in. But I'm time conscious because I know you need to go soon. But okay, so what will be your third kind of lesson that you've learned so far in throughout your journey?
I think a big thing, like from a business point of view, and I know that there are two sorts of businesses that I see more and more often right now. There's the businesses that have like come from nowhere. So let's say you're a, you know, professional speaker, or you've got a bricks and mortar business and it's just been decimated. Like, you know, you can't do that stuff anymore. There are no live events anymore. There's no footfall through the high street to your store anymore. There's a lot of businesses that are trying to work out how to actually shift themselves into the digital space. And there's a lot of businesses that were already doing stuff with digital that are getting flattened by the competition. Mm-hmm. The thing that I've noticed throughout my career, and the biggest mistake that I see businesses make when they're trying to work out how to do digital really well, is they forget that actually good marketing, good, you know, connecting with people is literally just that. It's about actually creating some sort of engagement with another human being. Your primary thing is not to try and ram something down people's throats and say, hey, buy this thing. And I think, unfortunately, there's a lot of businesses in a state of absolute panic that are trying to do that.
Yeah, definitely.
It is stepping back. The third thing, I guess, is stepping back and working out what you do that brings a benefit to somebody else, and how can you create a story around that benefit or that outcome. So rather than focusing on, I do all these things here are all the features, here's all my, you know, grand ways of doing stuff, is how can you completely reframe that narrative and try and work out there's somebody out there that is struggling with something. I can do something that helps that person improve. You know, it gets them through that problem. it will completely change the way that you do your branding, the way that you do your content strategy, the channels that you choose to use, and all the rest of it. From multinationals all the way down to, like, you know, corner shop owners.
Yeah.
It's the same basic principles, and I've seen it over the last 20 years being done horrifically badly. But as soon as you can sit down and work out,
I agree.
who is it that's out there that's got a problem that I've got a solution for, and how should I engage with them on as personal a level as I possibly can? As soon as you master that, as soon as you work that out on paper over a weekend, or, you know, whatever the process is that you do, you will start to actually see engagement improve. You'll start to see people gravitate towards you, because rather than trying to sell people something, what you're actually doing is saying, hey, I know that there's a problem that you may have. Here's what we do that might actually help. And, you know, here's some examples of how we've done this stuff in the past. It's a very, very different way of actually framing your business.
I think it comes down to storytelling, right? It's literally just storytelling. It's all.
Yep.
I think the business world and entrepreneurship, and even just life in general. If you start getting good at telling stories genuinely, like authentic, with vulnerability involved and humility and all that real source in there, I feel like that's when people will connect, because people don't want to see the whole fancy influencer kind of lifestyle anymore. They don't care about that. They know it's fake now. They want to see when you're just being yourself, when you're crying on the screen, when you're being vulnerable, when you're opening up about deep situations and stories in your life that are just so real that they're thinking, why would you share that with everybody in the world? Like, that's something so personal to you. Why would you share that? Because we know that we're sharing that, because we know that someone out there needs to listen to that and feel like, I'm not alone. There's someone else.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting. It's like watching a really, really good film. You know, when you watch, like, your favorite film, whatever it might be, and you get to a point where you forget that you're just sat in front of a big black box that's emitting, you know, rays at you, and you're sat in a room you suddenly feel like a completely immersed part, like you're actually involved in that whole storytelling process. It's exactly the same thing. When you can do that well with the digital channels, like the fact that it's on a phone or it's on a desktop, or there's all these wires and Wi-Fi and everything else in between, it just all dissolves away, because you've created that kind of golden thread of emotional connection with another person. And that doesn't mean that you then have to be sleazy and kind of try and sell them something. What it does mean is that you've created some rapport. And these days, with everything being so noisy, that rapport is worth so much.
I agree. Definitely agree, man. Honestly, I think that real genuine connection with people is what really matters. Nobody wants to listen to the rags to riches stories anymore. They want to listen to the real story that someone actually has gone through. Someone like me and you, just normal people who are just sharing our normal, authentic journey. And we know that they're struggling with it, so we open up as much as we can. So it opens their doors and their mind to be like, wow, there's people out there just like me. I'm not alone. I can actually get through this. That means, because they did. He went from being super shy to being confident. Why am I still shy? And what did he do to get out of that kind of thing? You know. So, yeah. Bro, love it, man. All right, cool. I know we're conscious of time because you got to go. But all right, two more. What's your last two? Let's do this.
Yeah. So the fourth one kind of ties a couple of them together, and it's a little bit of a gripe, I guess, or it's a little bit of a nudge for people. Is don't be scared to be yourself online.
Yeah.
Like you say, there is so much falseness. There's so much like hollow veneer. There's so much using filters. There's so much pretending that things are better than they are, or, you know, any of that stuff. All of us will be connected with somebody, and we know deep down that what they're actually saying isn't really truly them. It's tiring, if nothing else. Don't get hung up on the vanity metrics. Don't get hung up on the stats that you don't really need. If you've got 20, 30 people that you're truly connected with on whatever social channels or digital channels that you're actually using, and you make a difference to their life and vice versa, that's enough. Like 5,000 people that you're pretending in front of, it's dangerous, because all it's really doing is it's fueling your adrenaline. You know, it's that hit, that really, really horrible kind of chemically dopamine hit of something that's not real. And I've seen it over and over again with people. It's just a dangerous game to play. So I would say, if you are going to do stuff with digital, especially with there being so much choice and so much noise and so much uncertainty and so much trolling and just craziness that's going on out there, is just be like completely unashamedly yourself. You don't need to be perfect. None of that really matters. What does matter is if you got something to say that is valuable, or something that might help somebody else, is go out there with that premise. You know, something that I've learned or something that I'm doing right now might actually help somebody else, and therefore I want to share it. And I don't need the filters, and I don't care if nobody watches it right now. Just do it. You know, use those channels for what they are best at, rather than what everybody else seems to be doing right now.
100% agree, man. Just honestly, spot on. Spot on. I keep telling people the same thing every single day. Every day for my content. Stop worrying about the vanity metrics. Stop worrying about the numbers. Stop worrying about other people. Just go and do you. Like, just go and do what it is that makes you internally happy every day. That's it. Even if it's one thing that you did today that you're super proud of. The key is to be proud of yourself. Not to have a coach or someone else tell you, hey, I'm proud of you, which is still a really good thing, by the way. But when you can tell yourself every day, wake up, be grateful, and just be like, I'm proud of you, Sadiq. Proud of you, Rob. Like, just say it to yourself and genuinely mean it. That's when you know you're truly living on purpose. Yeah,
great. And it makes such a difference. Like, you'll find that you feel lighter. And you know, that then takes some of the pressure off. And, you know, it's that snowball effect, but in the right way.
Yeah, love it. All right, awesome. Last one, Rob. Last one.
The last one, and it's something, hand on my heart, it's something that I don't do enough of. And it's probably made harder by increased opportunity in the industry that I work in. As I say, do a lot of stuff with clients all over the globe, and digital's increasing. Like, the demand on agencies to do stuff with digital is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I keep making a promise to myself, which sometimes I keep and sometimes I don't. But I think, like, the simplest thing is, regardless of what's going on in your life and your business and everything else, is give yourself like a regular break. Have something that's put in your diary that is unrefutable. It cannot be moved. You've put it there. It's for whatever the hell you want to do. If it's going and learning to play guitar, if it's going for a walk somewhere with a dog, if it's just taking time out to roam the streets because they're quiet right now and the architecture's beautiful and you can see everything. Like, just have that me time actually dedicated, and use it just for yourself. Don't let yourself get dragged back into other things that are going on. As I say, I don't do it as much as I should. I'm trying so hard to do it on the regular, but it becomes something that you look forward to. And you find out so much about yourself when you're not kind of involved in the typical day-to-day structure that you've created. You almost create a vacuum, and you can just go and do whatever the hell you want because it's yours.
You know what I used to do, by the way, Rob, before lockdown? I used to actually, I think it was most of the time it was every Thursday evening, I used to disappear off the face of the earth, and I used to go to the cinema by myself to watch a movie. No one next to me, no one else, because I know it's the only place, it's quiet. I could take my phone away, put it on airplane mode, and I can just sit there in the darkness. Even if it's such a crap film, I should sit there and just be by myself with no one annoying me, no sharing popcorn, just literally me, myself, and I, and just zone out of the world. Because I know that I work super hard, and sometimes I just need that self-love, self-care time for myself. So I just go and sit in the cinema. Now that it's lockdown and the cinemas have closed, I pretty much do the same thing, but just do it in my room now. And I'll just zone out. I'll turn everything off, on my laptop, everything on, and I should just put on a movie and just watch it by myself.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the only thing you can just zone out, right?
Yeah, it makes such a difference. I mean, I've found as well, the way that my brain works, and I think a lot of other people are like this if they would let themselves be, is you can take a problem from your day to day, whether it's, you know, personal, family stuff, business, whatever, stick it in the back of your head and go and do something else. Like, allow yourself to, I call it positively procrastinating. You know what I mean? Just allow yourself the space. You will find that your own mind, the power of your own mind, will surprise you, because you'll probably find, like, subconsciously it's working out a solution while you're busy staring at the sea or staring at a screen or walking the dog or, you know, learning some new tricks on a guitar or whatever it is that you want to do. Is actually there's a little bit in the back of your brain that's going, right, I want to sort this stuff out while this guy's busy.
Yeah.
And you kind of come back feeling fresh, back to these problems that were there, but you chose to take a little bit of time off, and you will find that you'll be so much more productive because of it, which is weird. It's like you got two options. Keep going hell for leather 7 days a week, or take some time off and actually be more effective.
Yeah, because we as human beings, we need to refuel. We need to recharge. We are not a machine where it's just bang, 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 bang. We can just be productive 100% all day, every day. There's no holidays, toilet breaks, sickness. We are human beings, and we all have the ability to think and dream bigger than we already are doing. But it doesn't mean hustle 24/7. It means be efficient. If it means something I realized, Rob, is you can get more work done in 1 hour of 100% of your attention and energy and time into that 1 hour than 1 week of just sassing around and just, doing a little bit here and there and not really giving just giving 50% one day and 20% the other day and 70% that day. I'd rather just sit down and get it all done out of the way with 100% focus. And it's the same with when I'm speaking to people in any kind of relationships, my friends, people online. I'm just so conscious of being mindful with you right now that nobody else around me, nothing can distract me. I just want to be focused with this person or this one thing for the next hour or 2 hours. And then I can go do whatever I like.
Yeah.
So that attention and focus is so important. I call it like consciousness, just fully being conscious of the moment and living with that mindful kind of presence in mind. Just making sure you realize that whoever's in front of you right now, that's all that matters.
Yeah,
the rest can wait.
Completely.
The world can wait.
I remember reading something when I was a kid that fascinated me, which was this idea that all of us subconsciously could recall the numbers on every single lamppost on our street. But if we were asked, we wouldn't have a clue. So subconsciously, we've been absorbing, by being right in the moment, we've absorbed so much information and just put it away in the back of our minds. I notice the difference if I'm out in the woods walking with a dog and I'm, really just, wow, that tree's amazing, or that like the sun that's coming through there, or the dog that's like wanting that squirrel or whatever. When you suddenly, as you say, when you live in the moment, everything just becomes crazy vibrant. It completely changes the way that you feel about everything around you.
100%, man. One example, just to quickly add in, the next time you go grab your coffee from Starbucks or wherever you go to get your coffee, when you go to the cashier and they the barista that ask you, hey, what would you like today? How are you? They start having a conversation with you. You look at the name badge. They always have a name badge. Look at the name badge. Be conscious of their name. Say to them, I want a flat white. I'll have a flat white for takeaway, please. They say it's going to be £2.75, whatever. You pay. And then when you paid and they say thank you to you, because you saw their name badge, say thank you, Jess. Say thank you, Rob. Say thank you, Sadiq. Whatever their name is, say their name. You'll be surprised how they react to you, because nobody has ever come into the shop and has said their name before. And if you can be the first person to say their name that day, you've literally made their day. You'll see, Rob, they suddenly like, oh my God, how do you know my name? Oh, because it says says right there on your name badge. They're like, whoa, no one's ever said that. No one's ever realized it. They suddenly feel important.
Yeah.
And most people don't felt like they don't feel like that right now, because it's hard times and nobody's taking attention on the small details like that.
Yeah, completely agree. It's kind of
Crazy,
summarizes everything we talked about, doesn't it? It's that thing of being in the moment, and it's that golden thread of creating a connection with another person.
100%, man. I love it. Dude, before you go, I want to quickly ask you one last question, and then you can share your social media stuff. So the last question I want to ask you is, imagine you're on a stage. Okay, imagine you're on a TED stage. Rob is giving his TED talk to 90,000 people. And right at the end of your speech, you know that you want to leave this one sentence in everybody's heart and everybody's mind that day, that they will never forget who Rob Sayles is after that day. What would that one sentence be in the crowd on that day?
That's a good question. I think it would probably be trust yourself and be yourself.
Trust yourself and be yourself.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Love it. Amazing. That's it, man. That's all I needed from you. If you elaborate, you're going to get late for your meeting. So
yeah.
So perfectly leave it like that. But I am going to be leaving all your social media links and everything under the YouTube video and under all the podcast platforms. But just for everybody listening or watching right now, where's the best place if they want to come and ask you for any kind of marketing services or any kind of the work that you do, or just ask you a question about something you shared from the episode? Where can they best reach you at?
Probably robsayles.com. There's a calendar on there. You can book in half an hour, and it's not about me selling services. Like if somebody wants to book in and have a chat for half an hour and I'm available, that's cool.
Awesome. Guys, go and reach out to Rob. He's a cool guy. I had a conversation with him before we even started the podcast. You'll have a good chat with him. Funny man. and yeah, just reach out. As I say to you every single week, all my guests are here. They're off service. I've never had a guest where they just come onto the podcast to just sell their services. There's a reason why I have certain guests on the podcast, and I know it's because they come from some kind of a ambitious and passionate background, and they love what they do, and they want to be of service to the world. So make sure you guys go and reach out to Rob. And Rob, what's the last thing you want to share before I end the show?
Just look after each other. Just everybody take care. It's a bit of a crazy place out there right now. Just be kind to yourself and kind to other people around you.
Awesome. Rob, thank you so much, man. I'm really, really grateful that I had to chat with you. Take care. Have an amazing day, and I'll catch up with you soon.
Yeah. Take care. See you.